Welcome to the PDR Workshop Podcast, where we provide information about the paintless dent removal process, anywhere from the best business practices, tech tips, and even tool recommendations. Don't forget, you can always join us and engage with the community during our live show every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Thank you for listening and enjoy. I want to welcome everybody to the PDR Workshop live show. Part 2, where we are going to talk and discuss about learning how to set up a hailstorm. This is not my first rodeo, but it's like my third or fourth rodeo, so I'm relatively new. And we're just going to bring you along, share like our part 2 of what, our experiences have been. Have some fun.
Yeah, it's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's like a double whammy with the storm. I think we said that in part 1. I want to thank our sponsors, Mobile Tech RX, Dentcraft Tools, and Blim Tools. So please go ahead and support those guys. The link will be in the description below, as always. So, quickly, we're doing a giveaway. We're going to try to do these monthly now. But for right now, we're going to start July off right, even though we're halfway through July.
Yeah.
It's been a busy month for us. But I've been using this Shore Bonder gun for the last 3 weeks, and so far, stole my heart a little bit. So price is right, and I just decided to give you guys one, or give some lucky person one. There's a few things you have to do to enter. Link will also be in the description below. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to join us in this giveaway.
It's going to be fun. The last one went great.
Oh, yeah, like 900 or 1,000.
Yeah, that one was fun, so.
Yeah. Perfect. Cool.
Where do they go for that?
They will, it's in the description. It's below. You just pretty much, I just think it said, click here for giveaway or something like that.
Multiple entries, right?
Yeah, multiple entries.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you got to subscribe to our podcast and then newsletter. And then actually I have a little fun one. It's just, share a picture of your glue pulling setup.
Nice.
So just something quick, and whoever wins, I can share their nice little setup and where this this new gun will go to. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool, it'll be fun.
Yeah, and they can sign up with like Instagram or any of those social media logins. So, all right, Dave. So part 2, the dealership. Man, we anybody don't know, we nailed our first dealership. We negotiated. It's been a long time coming. And I definitely wanted to get one of those underneath the belt. But, this is I've worked with another PDR guy, helping him manage one of the dealerships. Smaller dealership, probably only had I think we did about 78 cars 2 years ago. And I'm itching to just do my own thing, like always, type A. So we got the opportunity. One of our dealerships that we service got hit with hail, and we just want to go over the things that we did. This is the part 2 version of it. We did some of the retail in part 1.
Yeah, so just real quick, if you guys missed out on the last show, we had 2 storms kind of back to back.
Yeah.
So the first one, it was pretty quick. We had a lead from another tech in the area who wasn't able to service like a body shop or two, and so we had to facilitate that whole thing. At the tail end of that, another storm came through the area, damaged a whole nother section of the location we live. So we now had to go from one area where all of our resources were, and then now manage a whole nother area with multiple accounts, including a major dealership that got hit with hail damage.
Yeah.
So we're going to be kind of just talking about how we made that transition, and then on top of how did we start the process of negotiating with a large dealership on a hail claim on all their cars.
Yeah.
So I actually just kind of want to get into it. So a storm came in. I know you went the day before, correct? How did this start?
The day after. Yeah,
the day after.
To see if they had damage.
And it was a Sunday morning?
That was a Sunday morning. Storm came in around Saturday around 5, 6 o'clock. It was still light outside. I was doing, some family stuff, and I just really couldn't get out there. It's about an hour away from my house, 45 minutes ish. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna wake up bright and early. I'm an early riser, 5 o'clock. So I'm gonna wake up bright and early, grab some coffee on the way up there, and take a look at
you
that
went
lot.
straight to the account that we serviced that may have gotten hit with hail.
Yeah.
So we go. So you went, you checked it out. All the cars,
All the cars got
all
hit,
the cars, the majority of the cars had damage on it.
Yep.
So now you have to prep for the dealership coming in Monday morning and noticing and understanding that they have hail in all their cars.
Yeah.
And someone needs to fix it.
Yeah. So I was starting to plan the strategy now. Obviously I reached out to you and kind of gave you my initial thoughts of how we were going to try to handle this. And the first thing I said is we need to be here Monday morning, ready to go, just to ensure them that, we can facilitate all of these cars getting repaired in a timely manner, and just to reinsure them. It's all about trust, I believe, with dealerships like that. They trust us to handle the cars.
So Monday morning hits.
Yeah,
and you're prepared,
hits.
right? Because
I'm ready to go.
You've already calculated about an average. Pretty much, you noticed all the cars have damage.
Yes.
So now you're just trying to calculate how much damage it is per car, because you understand the process of what's about to happen, which is the dealership itself is going to have to make a claim.
Yeah.
Right?
They're going to have to decide,
Or they're going to have to decide
what they want to do.
What they
want
to
to make a claim, they want to pay out of pocket. Are they just doing the hood? Some dealerships are a little weird.
So,
but
so now you went in Monday morning. Do they know that their cars have damage, or were you kind of one of the first ones, if not the first one, to kind of get this going?
So this dealership, we have a strong relationship. If any one of the dealerships got hit, that was probably the best one, because I bought a few trucks from them and stuff like that. So they actually reached out to me, I believe at like 8:30. I was on my way. I knew they opened up at 9, so I was kind of in the area. I was about 10, 15 minutes away. And they said, hey, our lot got hit. And I said, yes, sir. I was there on Sunday just looking over it. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. And we can go ahead and walk the lot together and see what's been damaged. Kind of acting like I didn't really know. And so when I got there, we walked a lot, like I said. And
this is you and the general manager?
Me and the general manager. We walked a lot. I said, what do you want to do here? He said, we're going to just start a claim, get the insurance company involved. Keep in mind, this is up until that point, I've never done that before. It was all like just kind of going with the flow for the most part. But, initially, well, not initially, but throughout the entire process, I'm just reinsuring them that it's not a big deal.
So when you
just
mean
the damage
this is your
itself
first time
wasn't
doing
that,
it, so
wasn't
when you
that
mean
big.
this is your first time doing it,
as a solo, like just that right there.
This is the first time Chris Ray is actually negotiating with his company, with the owner of another company, or the manager of another company.
Yeah.
And you two are about to do business together. This isn't you riding the coattail of someone else brokering a deal.
No.
This isn't you. Someone else already kind of set up the deal, and you're coming in with bodies to come in and push. This is you.
That's what happened last time. It was like he kind of set it up. Not a great deal. I wish I was in the negotiation room, but I wasn't. I was just there to do the storm, manage the storm for him, help him out.
And so now you're walking a lot.
Yeah, so I'm walking a lot. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to get a gauge of how long it's going to take him to do cars, so I can get a gauge on price.
And you already know the ansers to some of the questions that he's already about to ask.
Yeah.
What are some of those that
he's basically, kind of asking me, what do you do at this point? And then I say, you got to contact your insurance company. And they're going to most likely want us to estimate a percentage of cars, and then they're going to average out. They're just going to give us a flat fee to do each car. And I said, most likely right now is just get an accurate count of what was on the lot that was hit, because a lot of times what they have in their database compared to what hit could be a certain amount of variance to that, and that could cause a little bit of an issue when you try to get the claim started, because they have a list. When the insurance company comes, they have a list of what was supposed to be on the lot. And then so they go around and check. And they don't come until like another week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
They were about like a week and a half. They were pretty cool. So anyway, they check all the cars that were on their list.
Yeah.
So obviously maybe about 6 to 8 cars weren't on their list, but did get hit on the lot that they own.
So he's wondering, so all my cars got hit. What do I do? You're telling him.
Yeah, we got to start a claim.
One of the options, and this is the option that I would go with, and this is how we can help you, is by starting a claim.
Yeah, so when I was there, actually, let me pause. If you guys have any questions dealing with the hail, feel free to, type it up in the chat because we want to make this engaging as possible. But yeah, so I decided to pull in just a random car and just get a count of what actually the damage is, and just do an estimate, like a regular estimate. And so I didn't give that to him, but I just needed a sense of how much was fair per car, because that's how the insurance company.
You're just trying to be proactive. You're
right.
trying to have the answers to questions that people are going to ask.
Of course.
And you are trying to gain as much knowledge about the storm, and you're also trying to calculate at this time, as these numbers of cars keep racking up, the bodies that and the team we have.
Yeah.
How is this going to get done? And on top of this, right? This is Monday morning.
It's Monday morning.
Monday morning, you're walking the lot with the general manager of one of the bigger accounts that we service that got hit with hail. On top of this, we have accounts calling. Body
We're
shop
still
accounts.
doing hail.
We have retail customers calling from the same area that also got hit with hail. So I know the phone was ringing nonstop for us, especially that Monday morning.
Yeah. So we were already ahead of the curve because we just got done with another hailstorm. So everybody kind of knew their role in the hail. This hail, it just happened in a different area, like right after the other. So we didn't do any changes. Our office manager, ops manager, already had a flow of things for like the last 5 weeks. So everything kind of went well. You were already well involved into the hail that we were working with prior from that. But basically, I jumped on the phone with a few guys and just see where they were at. I called 2 or 3 guys, and they were all working. And I just happened to call Q.
And why are you doing this?
I'm just
why
trying to...
Why are you calling people to come in?
Because I want to be ready to push when they're ready to push. Normally, when you work into a dealership,
so this is what, Monday or Tuesday?
So this is
Wednesday?
Monday.
'Cause you said insurance didn't come in for another week, so
yeah, they came in I think on that Friday.
Okay, so a full week. People are trying to kind of figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
You are already
calling guys,
preparing for the. We're probably not going to push until the following week, possibly even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But you're already trying to have guys come in.
Yeah.
See who is available to actually come in and push.
Yeah, and I try to be as transparent as possible. So I think I forgot who I called first, but Q was one of the calls. He's actually on the chat now, and I just told him what I have. I said, listen, I got a dealership. Most likely, my guys are going to be busy with body shops. There was 5 body shops we were doing in that area, maybe 6.
Yeah,
and then we picked up 1 or 2 more because no one could service, the workload that they had. So anyway, I said, hey, I don't think my, my team is going to be able to, handle what the dealership needs. They don't want the 1, 2, 3 cars a day. They want a powerhouse in there that solely can just focus on their cars, organize. Just the fact that they can just like focus on one dealership. I just had a meeting with Q today, and he knew where all the cars with the trim that needed that was damaged that we needed to order, and it just helps me out so much because I got trim over there, I got cars over there, I got estimates to write over there, and the dealership it's just hard to keep up, with the list. It's just hard. Mobile Tech RX makes it somewhat convenient, but at the end of the day, it's just my mental capacity.
Yeah, because there's 150 plus cars that need to get R&I'd. Headliners down, hood, insulators down.
Pay the R&I guy,
deck lids down, moldings need to be ordered.
Crazy.
So this is not only for these cars on the dealership, new and used. This is also for the body shops that we're servicing as well. We have to coordinate to get bodies into there, and if we have to do any R&I on our own, can we get the shop to do it? What's the percentage if there is one?
Get them familiarized with how things go, because in that storm, the body shops that we were dealing with, they didn't get any hail the first time. So this is all new. They're calling us saying, how many should I schedule? We had one body shop that scheduled 22 cars in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So that was, we handled it. But anyway, we got I called Q, gave him some information. I guess he was at a point where he needed to make a decision within the next day or two. And he made a decision to come with us.
Yeah.
And so he said, hey, I'm gonna be on my way. I can be on my way on Monday, I believe it was. I said, okay, no problem. The insurance company, should be there on Monday, because it was right around like July 5th. So I didn't think they were gonna come July 5th. I was actually planning a vacation. And so I get a call from the general manager. Hey, insurance guys will be here in an hour. And I guess this is just the thing you have to do when you're trying to be the captain of the ship. And I just jumped in my car, told my wife, hey, our little beach vacation is gonna have to put on hold. The insurance guys are there, and they'll be there in an hour. So Blake jumped in the car, and I was literally like their porter, their estimator, and everything the entire time. And this dealership, it's a smaller dealership, so they don't have the resources like 5 porters and stuff like that to help these guys. So I knew they were gonna need help. I just had a hunch, a gut feeling that let me just be there, and just even if I'm just moving cars back and forth, it's probably gonna help them
If
tremendously.
someone needs a question answered too, I mean, people just are randomly
right.
It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now the dealerships, the parts and the service, they all understand that, there's hail and what are we going to do about these cars, and everyone's talking to you. And, that's just because the relationship that's built through, with the account. So you have random salesmen coming up like, oh man, you guys are going to fix all these. So you're having these little conversations that are taking time, but everyone's trying to kind of figure out what's going on, and you need to present.
And I think they're trying to kind of,
are you gonna
fill
get
me
out?
Are you gonna be able to? Like, are you gonna
really
get this done?
I know you do 1 or 2 here for service.
They're waiting for me to kind of
get a whole lot here now. Are you gonna be able to fix it? Sometimes we see you and maybe another tech, but is Dentless Touch gonna be able to be the company that's gonna be able to get this done for us? And
the crazy thing about it is that dealership I don't service. They haven't seen me in 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
So just going in there, I think they reassure that this is something that I'm gonna kind of take underneath my wing with the help of the guy, the tech that services it.
Because there's been trust built with you, and then obviously the tech that services it now. But I think you being there, just a little reassurance because they're going through this as well. Sure. So
it's a tough process for them because they're trying to sell cars. I mean, that's what their job is.
Yeah.
Move units. And so after the insurance company came there, it was 4 people, and I spent about 4 hours. And I had all the lights set up. I gave them my stool, my stand, so they can get up on. There was a lot of trucks, so they can get up on that and check the roofs. Every now and then they'll pull. Well, a lot of times they'll pull me and say, "How many dents do we see the same thing?"
Yeah.
And then move all the cars. It was crazy, but they, I think they appreciated both the dealership and the adjusters because it moves so it moves so quickly. They were expecting to do 2 days, and it only was a half a day.
See, that's nice.
So that,
and you were a big help and a big part.
Right. So they were very appreciative.
Yeah.
So now, both parties.
So as you're doing this, you're moving cars around a lot. You're understanding too. You're like, okay, well now I'm saying that I'm going to be able to get all these cars done. I'm noticing that I don't know if we're going to be able to do it here at this dealership where we're at right now. I mean, because just due to the limitation of the property itself, doesn't allow for just a smooth moving of cars. It's just the way this dealership's set up. It's pretty tight.
Yeah. So initially I was telling Q, I was like, hey, I got a big truck trailer. Get a tent. I have a tent, 20 by 20 tent. No problem. So, okay, cool. So then Monday morning rolls around.
The following
Monday, the insurance company has already approved everything.
Yeah.
Not really approved it. They basically say you can start. We're going to, here's the list of cars. We see the damage. I got a sense of what they were going to pay per car and how they work. I already knew how it was broken down. So just for anybody that doesn't know, we don't look at all the 20, the big trucks, like the 2500s. We look at about 25% of them, and then they just roll an average.
Yeah.
And I think, you can pull it was 5 big trucks. So you could pull the 5 2500s. So if you want to pull the 5 worst ones, it's fine. They didn't really have an issue with that because it averages out. So, but anyway, so when we thought, okay, we'll work in a parking lot. They have the adjacent parking lot. It's like an old Kmart building. So I was like, perfect, no problem. I'll put my truck, my trailer, tent, no problem. Probably get some people coming in from the street. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And so Monday morning rolls around, and it is pouring down raining.
Yep.
Pouring down raining. Q is on his way, and he's always, he's asking, hey, where would I put my tools? I said, no problem. I have a trailer. I'll have my truck there. I got insurance. We're good. Don't worry. And, we be working on a tent. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And it was, just setting up the tent. I didn't even set up the tent. I just pulled the tent kind of out of the trailer, and I was soaking wet.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I can't. Like, my feet are wet.
I know that. I was working in a body shop. I was coordinating my own stuff at another shop, so I understand how wet it was that day.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Umbrellas weren't going to do it.
Dogs.
Yeah. So you understood that a tent in the back of the dealership or adjacent to it wasn't going to work, just due to obviously the scenario that you were in right then and there. They're not going to be able to do this amount of cars outside. If this happens again, a tent's just not going to cut it.
Well,
so
you knew that my tent wasn't set up for like those storms, thunderstorms.
You knew this wasn't
going
to be an ideal situation for people that you have driving across the country to come help facilitate some cars, with this dealership. So you knew you wanted them to be comfortable. You knew you'd like to be comfortable and how you'd want to work. You didn't want that for them, and so obviously a tent wasn't going to work in this situation.
Yeah.
What? Now, what's your next thought? It was. when it was cool because. Because guys, I do have like a route background, so when this happened, I thought it was kind of the coolest thing. Because I hear guys do it all the time. It's super easy to do, but actually just witnessing it and actually just seeing how it all kind of went into play, super easy actually when it came down to it. But now you're like, okay, now I'm gonna look for a spot. Like, how did that work?
So, pause for a second. If you guys have any questions in the chat, we'll get to you, Tom. If it's about hail, please just put it in the chat. We're going to pause a little bit after I answer this question from Dave. But basically, I was still passing out cards and be like, hey, hail hit. We're a local tech. We're a local company right over there.
Trying to capture everything in that area.
I'm just capturing everything. I'm just kind of, I like it all.
Yeah.
so I'm still passing out, and
while we're here, why not?
Yeah, why not, right? And so I got guys coming, so I want a little safety net for me. If the more shops, the more safety net I have, the guys at least can come. Push for 10 days, whether we get the dealership or not. So anyway, so the dealership's out. They kind of want us. Are you good? They kind of want us to start on the cars. They were expecting Monday morning that we would start on their cars, and I'm like, okay, all right, let me get the tent. They were very patient with us, and so I was just like, where's their industrial spot? And so they said, oh, it's on, I don't know, 222 or something. They all the street names or numbers or something.
Yeah, so, farm roads.
Yeah. So the manager, I was like, hey, I'm looking at a tent, man, and he said, man, I wish my building at my house was done, because I'll let you just use my big barn. And I'm building a big barn. I said, oh, okay. Well, how far is that? And he says, this is 9 minutes up the road. So that gave me a radius of where to look, because I was trying to look like a mile away. He gave me more about 4 or 5 miles away.
Yeah,
so
one of the managers of the
owner
of the dealership.
Yeah,
said, well, I'll let you drive our cars
to
at
my
least
house.
minimum 9 miles.
At least 9. I think he said 9 miles away. Oh, it's 9 miles away. So I was like,
all right,
okay.
check.
I was like, okay, all right. There's my radius, 9 miles. Obviously, he can't help because his barn is not built yet. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me. In 9 miles, there has to be an industrial park. My shop is 23 miles away from here, so we got a large radius to cover here. So found a shop, and what I do is always try to I call the number right there. Normally, the number is a sales like a real estate
manager,
like a real estate person. So that normally takes time because they want their cut, right? So I was lucky enough to find. So I'm just knocking on doors. Hey,
in this strip mall, of just shops.
I finally found an industrial place. I'm down one of these back turns. Looks like I'm 2,000 square foot building.
Yeah,
and some of them looks vacant. So I'm like, okay, knocking on the businesses that were in, they were actually doing, in business there. And they say, oh, yeah, the guy that owns this company, which is right here. Go in there and ask for, I think his name was Chris. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, now I got scared. I'm like, the building was massive.
Yeah, it was like a metal,
150
like a big metal
employees,
factory
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
big boy stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm reading this book. If anybody's interested, from Jordan Peterson, it's, you know, the 12 rules of life.
Yeah.
I think it is. Anyway, it says stand with your shoulders back, just proud, just readiness. And so I said, all right, I got one chance to win this guy over because he's gonna read me like that. And so if I get a chance to even talk to him, right, I'm looking over and it's 3 levels.
You have to look for one
like,
guy in this huge place. He's the owner, and he probably like, is he going to be there or not? Yeah.
So
it's pouring down rain too. Is it like the same day?
Yeah, it's pouring. It's pouring down rain. And so they give me to the guy, and I go to the front desk. I'm like, I think his name is Chris. He was like, hey, you know, can I speak to Chris such and such? Do you have an appointment? And I was like, not really, but I heard he manages the buildings, you know, in the back. She didn't even know that. She was like, oh, I don't know that. So I was like, just ask him. I don't want to waste his time. If he's interested, I need to do a month-to-month rent. If he's not, I don't want to waste his time. He don't have to come downstairs. So he jumps on the phone. Nice, super nice guy. And he was just like, yeah, be down in 5 minutes. Waited 5 minutes, the most comfortable chairs I've ever waited in. And he was like, let me show you the place. Shows it to me. I'm like, what's your price? He was like, this is what I need.
And
wrote
he
a
was
check right
actually
there.
lower than the price that you had in your head.
Yeah, he was.
What you were willing to offer.
Because normally when you do month to month, they increase it a little bit, probably about another 25 to 30%.
And you explained the situation. You understood. But what was actually kind of nice is, like I said, you had a number in your head. You let him.
Yeah, my negotiation is not that bad.
You let him name his price first, and actually worked because it was actually cheaper than what we wanted to pay.
I mean, everybody was happy.
Or what willing to pay. So
yeah.
And then so the
yeah,
deal goes
so I just reassured him even through that entire conversation. I stood there and I just kind of, you know, just thinking back of that whole conversation, and I was like, man, I was just so confident. It was like, you know, like there was nothing that was going to go wrong. Like, and I just reassured him that, you know, I was, you know, like just do a quick month to month and keep it moving.
And then it worked out because you told him the situation. He happened to know the owner of
it was crazy.
The dealership.
Yeah,
anyway.
So he knew the owner, and I was like, listen, I just had to double check to make sure they're okay with running the cars this far. It's only about 7-8 minutes away, but I just want to double check before I give you the money for this month to month. And he was like, you need his number? You need his cell phone number? So I knew I won because I knew they were comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, perfect. He actually has the same GMC truck I have, so he buys trucks through them. So I was like, this is a win-win, man.
Yeah.
And so it pays to just do that footwork, though.
Yeah.
Like that extra. Like I almost gave up. I almost was like, well, shoot. Like, you know, we were on like trying to rent. We went down to the store and tried to rent a tent. They were talking about permits, and I'm like, this is turning into a cluster right now. And so I don't know. I just was like, let me go find a building. I don't even care how much it costs. And
it turned out to be a perfect spot. Enough for 2 cars, 3 cars, enough space for 2 techs that, you know, were in there, 3 if there needed to be, 4 if there probably wanted to be.
It was perfect because if we did like 20 cars a day, it would be too much for that dealership. You know what I mean? They're good with where they're at right now. So this is perfect. It's perfect. 2 guys and just enough space. They got the amenities, you know, bathroom and stuff like that. They don't have to keep running across. They got the safety with the tools. I couldn't ask for a better situation.
Yeah.
And again, it was just my resilience of just that back and forth.
So I know a lot of guys are probably going to ask about this stuff. So how is insurance working with this? Because I know that's probably a huge, I don't say like issue or liability, but I know a lot of guys get confused on when insurance comes into play. What do you have to have? What did that shop require? What did the dealership require for Dentless Touch and that insurance?
So it was just basically insurance, big. Right? So
the techs that came in, like those need insurance, they need insurance.
So
I know there's a
if
lot
anybody's
of
trying
insurance
to
stuff that back end that needed to happen. Different types of insurances. Yeah.
So let me just go over the list. So each tech is required when they subcontract from us is they're required for insurance, and that's garage liability. Their state is may not require the workers' comp, but since we have more than 3 employees, we have to have workers' comp, and we get audited every single year. So I have to show proof that either the person that was contracted does not need workers' comp or they have workers' comp. And it's like another tax season for me when I get audited. And it's every year, and it just happens to be like every July. It's actually crazy.
So do you have to contact your adjuster, the person you deal with this insurance, and let them know that you're going to be adding some people or anything like that? Are these phone calls that you're having to make?
So they just need to show proof of updated insurance. I give that to my insurance guy, and he does his little background check to make sure that it is accurate. It's not some random paper that they gave me, and everything is kosher. So
yeah.
But that's what they do, and obviously they fill out the W-9 form and all that stuff. Now, as far as the company, we just upped our insurance because we have just so many things going, just so many things happening with contractors and our growth and what we're able to do to it's a $2 million policy with a $3 million umbrella. So if anybody's interested in at least having like 15 guys, that's probably what you want, is a $2 million and a $3 million, just because it pays for any building that may burn down because of these lithium batteries, or just any crazy thing. It's not that expensive to do. I think for $1 million, it's like $65 a month. It's not that bad. So,
and was this guy requiring you to show that stuff?
Yeah,
or you just let him know, say, hey, look, I have insurance. This isn't just like some
that's another thing. The lingo,
fly-by-night stuff. I'm here in the area.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of trust built there, but I'm sure you had to show these things.
Yeah, the lingo was there. I say, look, I can contact you. I forget what I call it. Garage liability insurance. I can put you on the insurance because he could do his own claim. Like if the building burns down, I may not do the claim. I mean, obviously I will, but he's actually on my insurance for anything that happens on that for that building for up until the time of cancellation. And so that's what normally that's what the landlord wants.
Got it.
On all,
So they want that insurance from your company, and then you also want from the people that are coming in. You need them to have their own insurance as well.
Yeah, which is pretty much standard. If you guys are doing business or you're a hail guy, make sure you have insurance, especially if you want to work with bigger companies, the more established companies. Just have your insurance. It's such a small fee for what it can cover, long term. I mean, my mentor told me, insurance is there for a reason, especially for a business. You can lose out a lot. That would be one financial problem if there's any, it could be anything. It could be
just a small mistake.
It can
cause you a lot.
So
yeah, that's crazy. So you set up the shop. Now everything's good. Now all of a sudden, okay, now we have to facilitate. We have to get these cars to this shop now. So that starts, hey, we're going to have someone shuttle these cars back and forth. Now that's set up, right?
Yeah.
So now that's kind of just...
That's there. Q
done.
which is Antonio, Q is just running it.
You set them up on Mobile Tech RX, right?
So Mobile Tech RX is beautiful when you set vendors up. I just get his email address. I go into the admin portal. I make him a subcontractor, and he is there.
Yeah.
So I think Tom had a question before he leaves, but yeah, he is there when all set up, and then he can pull from my client base.
That little team, that 2-man team, is now kind of taking over that part of this hailstorm. There was also another 2-man team that came in as well to help us at one of our larger accounts that had cars dropped off there. So that was a mixture of us and a hail team.
Yeah, I mean, the more of the kind of the beginning of this setup is basically, stand tall, understand the lingo that you need to present, and just kind of you're gonna find somebody's gonna willing to give you a chance on that, because a lot of people don't like to do month to month. They understand it. If they're a landlord, they understand stuff like that happens, but they're not set up for month to month. So I was lucky enough to get it, to have it, happen. But I would have, I knew I would have found it. I would have found something. So if it wasn't for him, with him, it was somewhere else.
Yeah.
So even if we had to use a tent for about a week, I would have found something.
And I mean, you would have just
I mean, I went down to trailer place. I saw a little garage. Hey, you want to rent out the garage? Nah, man, we don't want to do it. I was like, is there a lot of stuff in it? We can move the stuff, put it in my trailer. He's like, nah, there's actually nothing down there. But the guy won't.
And it's kind of crazy because I think I'm pretty comfortable with meeting people I feel that I'm, pretty friendly. I'm just empathetic just to people. I'm
Right.
passionate. I'll say hi,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I know some of these conversations that you were having to set some of these deals up were pretty tough because I mean, I know that I think I would I don't want to say crumble, but I would have a tough time having some of these conversations. At least just something of who owns this place. Oh, he's over there. Now I have to go have a meeting with him. Then I have to negotiate if I can rent the
Yeah.
space from him while it's pouring down rain. I have, hail cars getting dropped off. My phone's nonstop
Oh,
ringing.
yeah.
I got 7 accounts just alone that, have cars getting
Yeah.
dropped off. I have,
I think
150
we
plus
had-
cars at a dealership get dropped off. So
Yeah. It's crazy.
those are
Yeah,
some
it's crazy.
difficult conversations that you're having to have. And I know that I know you've been working on, I think, having them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it kind of comes pretty natural to you, which is, something that
I think it will come natural to anybody that knows what they're talking about. That is proficient.
I was
at
just
even
about to
just
say,
doing
yeah.
repairs and just understanding. Like I've never really done a dealership, but I've done my homework of how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm technically just talking as if I know.
Yeah.
Like
you've done it
theoretically,
before,
right?
yeah.
Like I've done it
because
before.
you know how it should go anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And so because I was able to bring that level of insight, they automatically
And just
felt
confidence,
comfortable.
like,
Yeah, I
to
was
the
just kind of
storm.
like, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, okay, everybody does it differently. I don't know
Yeah.
about your insurance company, but normally it's like this. Oh yeah, and then he comes in and explains he's gonna write the average, and I'm, at that point the GM is like, okay, yeah, we understand. And Porter's here and Chris is here to help you, and let us know what happens. All right, cool, done.
Yeah.
I mean, it
went
was
very,
nice.
very smooth. I think the relationship has been built. The trust has been built. You've done that over time, which is great. And I think that after the team came in and things just kind of started rolling smooth
Yeah.
for us. The biggest thing was we're kind of still in the middle of it, or I guess kind of the tail end, but now it's just coordination, just being on point now with these other accounts, and that's kind of just was the.
I want to share a couple of things, but I want to go over the questions because I know guys have been waiting a little longer. Did you see anything? Your screen is a little closer than mine.
Yeah.
Let's see. My eyesight is getting bad.
So I was just asking if we got a contract for the sale.
Yeah, so I have an agreement.
Or was it an exclusive PDR agreement for a set period of time?
Yeah, it's an exclusive agreement. We can change it for each dealership, but we whipped that up. Well, I didn't whip it up. Crystal actually whips it up. Our ops manager, she whipped it up. Once I knew they were pretty serious, and once I knew the final numbers of the what the insurance company was paying, we basically put like an agreement together. So I'm all about expectations being upfront, and so they knew what we were going to be able to do per day, per car, what to expect. Obviously, I gave a little bit of leeway for the guys. And then as far as for me, it's all about when I'm going to get paid. And because we're going to do the work, and we're going to do the work, good at the best of our ability. We're going to get those cars back to, showroom quality.
Yeah, quickly.
So, very quickly. So at that point, we need to make sure that the expectations for payment is done, a certain way too. So.
Because, I mean, yeah, the dealership's biggest issue or want at that point is getting these cars fixed, back ready for sale.
Yeah. And I talked to our legal counsel and then Crystal. I may be able to share that document with you guys to help you guys out that are doing dealership. Again, it's just an agreement. It's not a contract. So, they're really like the GM and just me and we'll just have to sign. So that's all that is. It's not something too crazy.
Yeah.
So
I don't think dealerships really like.
They don't like contracts.
Yeah, they don't like
any
tying
big business
themselves-
don't like
yeah.
contracts because then they have to, get legal counsel too.
Yeah,
And so it gets a little funky, and then they just
yeah. I
So,
think
but
they
an
also
agreement
like the
is a
option
different
as well, vendors, stuff like that.
yeah.
One's not working, and we'll just get
Again, it's
another-
just
let's get another one.
expectations up front in writing.
Yeah.
That's all it was designed for, and I'm pretty sure I can share. I just don't want to say I can. So maybe in the next video on our part 3, when we go over like payment and all that stuff, I'm gonna see if I can share that document with you guys and
Nice.
blank out everything. So you guys can get an understanding of how to recreate your own one. Any other questions?
Yeah, someone was asking how close is Mobile Tech RX compared to the insurance estimate.
I mean, it's pretty dead on, actually. And then you can change different matrix inside of Mobile Tech RX. So if Geico is the car that you're writing for, you can switch it to Geico as well as
I
State
think
Farm.
that's one of the nicest features
one,
too. So if
yeah.
you guys haven't, estimated hail in a while. I don't know when they actually implemented this, but and I just actually started realizing it on this hailstorm. It defaults to a standard matrix, which is just the standard Mobile Tech RX matrix. And if you forget that you're supposed to be writing for State Farm, Erie, Geico, Allstate, whoever it is, you can now switch within Mobile Tech RX, and it will switch all of the totals with the change. So with the change of the matrix. Yeah. So before, if you had to change the matrix mid estimate, it would wipe everything and have to restart. Now it actually will take all the totals and adjust them accordingly if you do switch matrices within the middle of the estimate, which is nice. So just a quick kudos to them for that, because that was kind of a pain for a little bit.
They're always doing upgrades, man. Yeah. It's actually, you know, these new upgrades and updates. I'm sorry, not upgrades, but updates. It's making life easier in that app.
Yeah,
tremendously.
I agree.
So, and then they got like a supplement section and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, I think they do promotion where you get like 1 month free. I know if you type in Dentless, I think it's like 1 month free or $100 off, so which is like a month and a half for free, something like that. So, but yeah, you know, we absolutely love it. The subcontract feature is fire, man. Like,
it makes it easy.
Yeah. Oh man, it makes it so easy.
Super easy.
And then you can set up like what they get paid. So I like it, and I think the subcontractors that work for me like it too, because as they do a car, they don't know what the estimate is written. They can see the estimate. Then when I close out the ticket, they actually know what they are owed as far as, you know, the final bill. So when I'm writing a check, they're literally pulling out Mobile Tech RX and going, all right, this is my total, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the check I got to write them. And
everyone's on the same page. Transparency all across the board.
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing, especially with hail.
Expectations up front.
You know, and I was talking to a couple of the guys that we've had in town, and I didn't, you know, and I think I knew, I just didn't realize the extent of how bad it can be. I think I know just through social media and stuff like that, how difficult it can be just to get paid on the hail trail. How difficult it can be to go to some of these storms and not understand, when am I going to get paid? How bad are the cars really? You know, that people kind of fluff stuff. So I think they have been appreciative of how transparent we've been throughout the whole process, as much as we would want other people to be with us. So I mean, hats off to Mobile Tech RX for that, because I know have been talking about that just with payment and stuff, and how it does make it super easy with just using their application for this whole storm. Yeah, it's been really nice.
It's been really good. So, guys, if you missed the beginning, we are giving away a glue gun. I've been using this glue gun for the last 3 weeks now. It uses a Ryobi battery, but you can also switch it up to adapters for Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt. We're giving this away. The winner will be in our August show. So the first August show, and you have to the end of the month. We may be trying to do like monthly giveaways. So this is just the July 2019 giveaway.
So they have now until August 5th to enter.
No, they have now until August. Until
the 4th,
to the last day of July.
Okay, so the 31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they have.
Yeah, and then we would announce it on the 5th.
So next Wednesday they have next Wednesday.
Yeah, 9 days or something like that.
Okay.
It says so. If you're interested in that, there's a couple ways to enter.
Yeah. It's a great gun, guys. I mean, I would definitely enter, get as many entries as possible. I've been a strong Eliminate glue gun user for the last couple years, and I've tried the Stucky, I've tried the Ryobi. The Ryobi, I think, was one of the latest ones I used. I did not like it. It leaks way too much for my liking.
Yeah. It's too hot too.
Yeah, it just leaks glue everywhere. So the Ryobi wasn't working. You brought this on board. I've actually been really liking this as well. So this will be the backup for the Eliminate for right now. So
So, but anyway, I want to thank our sponsors. We're not going anywhere. Dave is gonna look at the chat to try to get some more questions going. But I want to thank our sponsors quickly. Mobile Tech RX. Go figure. We've been talking about them all day. We got Blim Tools and we have Dentcraft Tools, guys. So head over to their website. Show them some love. That greatly helps us. Helps us give these giveaways out, like little stuff like that everybody uses. Every PDR guy uses. Any other questions, Dave?
Everyone, I think we answered everyone.
Everybody's going through the questions. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to put it in the chat.
So to enter for this, though, it'll be in the description.
Yeah, it should be in the description.
Got it.
Yeah, enter to win July 2019 giveaway. Right.
So you guys, if you're looking to enter, it's in the description below.
And if you're watching, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate. And if you're in the podcast, please join us on all the podcasts. With what is it? We got. Man, I always get
we got
sidetracked.
Stitcher, we got Apple Podcasts, we've got Spotify, Google Play, so all major platforms where you can get your podcasts, we can reach you.
So before we go, I want to talk about coordinating texts. That was something that I feel as though I'm very weak at, but it's nothing I can do. And let me give you a situation. We were told that there were going to be 30 or 40 cars dropping, or just the overall total of cars. And just that variance of customers like not showing up, maybe the estimates tolling their car, or maybe it's just so light that it's, only a couple of hour repair, or we're waiting for estimates and it's not something we can write and go. It to facilitate like 10 guys jumping back and forth to body shop to work. Like I
internal and external employees.
That was communication in that area was a little weak, so that really created problems and issues. But man, if anybody has a trick to read these dealerships when they say they have 30, 40 cars, like if there's something I need to ask, because they're getting literally assignments. Cars are there. We got there on Friday, that same Friday that Dave, that I did the estimates for the dealership, and cars were literally getting dropped off. And so we were like, all right, we're going to come Monday morning fresh. They're saying 22 assignments, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And so we get all these guys lined up, and we get about maybe 8.
Yeah.
And so it really put a little stress on me because I'm promising work.
Yeah.
And
because everyone's numbers are fluffed, because no one really knows until probably the end of that week, starting week 2 from when the storm actually hits. So everyone's just throwing numbers out, and it's just everyone's guesstimating because they talk to their one adjuster buddy who's got a couple assignments, and they know the State Farm guy down the road, and he said, well, there's 30 coming to him, and so no one really knows, and so it is hard for someone who's trying to coordinate and let people know who are wanting to help, to just let them know how many cars they're actually going to be. And so for someone else to kind of clear their schedule or, come and help and stuff like that, it can be difficult when you don't really know how many cars are actually going to be on the ground until later that week. But you're trying to prep for the worst case scenario where if they all drop on the same day or something like that, it needs to be done because you want to show your accounts that you're able to handle the storm. That if this does happen again, that they don't have to worry. I want to say wait, and you're trying to capitalize on every car that is on the ground, and obviously,
of course,
repair each and every one that we're able to is fast and to the highest of quality we can in that moment in time.
Yeah, that was the only stressful. If anybody has any tips on that and how to read or what should I ask for on that, but I feel like I'm asking the right thing. The assignments, how many cars you get in, are coming in, and I kind of average, 70% that we're going to get. But I mean, sometimes it'll be 8 and 1 will show up. I mean, at that rate, it's like, what is that? 10% ish, 12%. You can't gauge that. There was time when I chiseled out the 2 days, 3 days, and I'm only doing 1 car. And that
or they'll
sucks.
come in the next week and it's not the day they
play
came,
around,
and then, so the shops that we were dealing with, some were understanding of
well, all of them. I think were understanding.
They were all understanding. It was just level, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know it themselves as well, and so it's hard for them to look at us for answers and us to look at them for answers because no one really knows until the cars actually start rolling in. So
that was the only stressful part. I got technicians that they allocated enough time to help me, and there's not a lot of work.
Yeah.
So It's hard. I try to be as transparent as possible. Look, I got something on coming tomorrow. Can we do tomorrow? And, I got some work here. I had to, two technicians just couldn't really come because the work was all just kind of spread out.
Yeah.
Thinner than we thought. So that was just it. I don't know of a good way.
No, it's been fun, and we're still kind of dealing with the tail end of it. Like you said, we got a couple still dropping here and there within, I think, the next couple weeks, which is nice. But with the way the weather's been, and actually we just had a storm tonight, that may have dropped some hail somewhere. So I don't think that the season's over. I think it's still, kind of just in the middle of the whole thing. And I don't think this is going to be the last storm we're going to work on for this year. But we're just trying to give you guys just some insight onto our process through the entire thing, because it can be
we're
difficult.
Learning too. So our mindset.
It can be difficult when you don't, have either just help or something like that on certain questions to ask. And I know that there's things that you've done throughout this storm that I've wondered how, Chris has done or something like that. And it's been fun to watch, and also go through at the same time.
Fun to do. It's been a process,
the same time, it's been really fun. So,
but it's that, that tool under our tool belt right now. It's like we can set up a whole storm, and now all my guys are seeing how this is set up.
Yeah.
And now they're getting comfortable to kind of set their own storms up when areas, because we are spread out.
This is like a 50-mile radius we've been dealing with, like 50 to 60 easy.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
easy.
Sure. Yeah.
Between all the accounts north to south, and I think even east to west.
Almost 2.5 hours if we have to drive from one and the other. So it's a pretty far.
It's a wide area that we're dealing with here, and trying to just facilitate and coordinate the whole hailstorm. So we're just giving you guys insight to how we do it and how we do some of these little deals in the process of doing them. Just simply walking their lot after, the day after the storm, already prepping and having answers for the dealership that morning, stuff like that, we
I mean, it shows that you care. I personally went down there and looked at the lot to see if there was any damage. Crazy thing about it, I actually went to the lot across the street and told the other guy, my competitor Dent guy, was like, "Hey, your lot got hit. You might want to wake up and go check it out."
Yeah,
it does have damage on it, and so I just try to help out. I don't think I was ever gonna get that lot, but I mean, at least he knows to wake his butt up. I'm not saying he was asleep, actually. Let me not say that, but at least he knows he needs to start making his way down there if he wants to, seal that deal up. But Mark asked, did the dealership try to keep a percentage of the insurance check for themselves? So I don't want to talk about deals, the deal that I'm doing right now, but I will say it is pretty much normal for them to have some portion of the check to them. And it's the same thing of a kickback or something like that. As much as the dealership has to help out, porters running the cars back for us and just helping us out, cleaning the cars after we work on them and stuff. I mean, I think they deserve something, to be honest with you. They just grabbing keys. I mean, they have a guy that's just there grabbing keys. They have 2 salesmen helping us move cars. They actually have a porter nonstop helping us. I mean, that is resources that they're spending to get their cars done. It's not just like a customer drop off, give me a rental. Don't pay for nothing. Don't do nothing. Call me when it's done. It's they. They're
in it just as much as you are.
And so they have to now. We were using 2 or 3 of their little tags, and I mean that's less test drives for them. They got to watch the test drives. They got to watch. The porter can't move cars for customers as much. The wash guy is busy washing all of the cars, and it got to the point where they actually contract out the washing. So the guy would come every 3 days. We would obviously do, 20-something cars in 3 days. And the guy would come and wash the cars, that we worked on as a contract. So these are things that they spend money on.
In the midst of just getting all this done.
Right. And then just the inconvenience because they can't sell.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I literally today, the customer was like, no, I don't want the car because it has dents on it. And so we pulled another one that had dents on it, but it doesn't anymore. And I'm like, so they now have a car with 100 miles on it that's supposed to be brand new if another customer buys it.
Yeah.
But just that simple thing kind of messed them up a little bit. But anyway, there's a question about aluminum, and so sharp tip tools, and it's crazy how John from Grey Duck Dent Repair comment right below. So I would honestly say the Dent Reaper.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So I didn't get a chance to use his new Dent Reaper rod, but Q has been talking it up.
Yeah. I had a couple texts actually text me today.
Oh, and talk about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Chicago.
Snap.
That
So,
they've been using the
yeah.
new,
A little double, yeah.
yeah. I don't say
That
double bend, but yeah, the new.
I don't know
new
what he's
one.
calling it. So sharp tools. Some of the sharpest tools is the Dent Reapers. No joke. Me and John was laughing about like you should not be a beginner and have that tool in your hand. You will tear some stuff.
I like this.
up.
I like the circus set, marked circus set from PDR Finesse.
Okay.
That's kind of a go-to for me for hail, or for not for hail, actually for hail. I use that with one of my main hail rods, but also for aluminum.
Yeah. Yeah. So aluminum, it's definitely sharp tools all the way.
Yeah.
And I like sharp tools with a little bit of tape with aluminum too. It can kind of pierce through the tape really, really quickly, but just that little bit of like 5 or 6 pushes, it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's just for me. I don't know.
I mean, and so it requires more pushing. I think, and also too, what I noticed with aluminum, if I get it flat, I do it when I do the cross check. I'm pushing a lot. I mean, outside of where the dent actually was, like I feel like I'm moving. I have to move stuff around it as well.
Yeah,
more.
It's funky. It's funky.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to the F-150 hood. So
yeah,
and I mean,
you're all over that hood.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, sharp tip tools is what I'm thinking.
What knockdown do you use with aluminum?
To me, it depends on the aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually use a plastic.
So you don't
with
use
a steel
the
core.
VIP? Depends, right?
It really does depend. I have them both in my pocket, so it's like if one works, then all right, then I'm using that. If not, then I'm going to the other one.
But some of you beginners, it's all how the metal is moving. So what we want you, it's not a one tool and it's done. I mean, Dave rolls with what you just said, 2 knockdowns, probably 2 different blending hammers. I know you have 2. Do you have any more that you normally run with? Like,
typically it's 4 knockdowns and then 2 hammers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 3 knockdowns and maybe just 2 hammers.
Yeah.
2 blending hammers, 3 knockdowns and 2 different blending hammers. So, and it's all on my main cart. So that means however that metal is reacting, whether it's steel, high strength steel, or aluminum, I switch back and forth to a couple of those things.
Yeah.
Obviously, what I probably use 90% of the time is a nylon knockdown. I've been playing around with the VIP.
Yeah.
But I still like
the tequila tools are great for aluminum, I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Super sharp. So
what is he saying? I can't really see what straight.
He said if it's deep, that it's that he has to do a slide hammer and then a sharp tip. I mean, honestly, I think it's more pushes closer together. Push a little harder.
I don't think slide hammer.
I mean, I understand like
the
using a
mini
slide
lifter,
hammer.
but-
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Yeah, it's either one. I understand using glue. We were just talking about that this morning. If we didn't have glue for a certain repair.
Yeah, that's
right. We were just talking about that. So I know a lot of guys they do, but what if that was not an option? It's just, to me, it's just tighter, closer pushes.
Yeah. I think the best thing to do is just grab an aluminum hood and just wail on it, because you're gonna start getting an understanding. I think this is just 5-6 years of us just dealing with aluminum, and I mean, some of these high strength steels and some of these steels are acting like aluminum. Well, high strength steel is acting like aluminum now, so I really don't have too many problems with it.
It's just
honestly.
it
It's just
requires
sharp
more
tools
more effort and more pushing. I mean, I know
but you need the leverage.
Because you need to push harder. I mean, you do. Smaller dents, even easier small dents, or on an aluminum hood requires more pushes typically than a steel one. So if you have a deep dent, it's going to require even more pushes. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's like a technique too. Like, if it's a deep dent, I have a whole different technique for a deep dent. I start it completely different than what some people start, and I think it's just faster for me. Most of the deep dents, stuff like I was just talking about Q about doing the little MTE, what they do.
The Dent Olympics?
Dent Olympics, yeah. And so the sharp dents like that, I know I can get it done in 20 something minutes just because of the technique. I just know me, I'm kind of stage shy, so I'm not going to do well without my tools. So, but yeah, just try it. Definitely, just get more experience with aluminum. There is a point where aluminum, like some of the Ford aluminum, is very tough. It starts to split like underneath the clear, so there are limitations.
I think that, I mean, Audi does. I mean, and that's...
They do, but they don't do it. You could still move more metal before it splits. And so the Ford just seems like by the time it starts to move, it starts to split. So you kind of, that whole sharp tip is actually, you got to watch yourself. You got to focus. That's not something on aluminum. That's not something you jump on a phone and just lollygag around. I mean, Dave, you were doing hoods. Excuse me, guys. Dave, you were doing hoods. I don't know, maybe 2 hours, and all of a sudden you jump on an aluminum hood and it's 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it took me a long time.
Yeah, so just
with access and stuff like that. But so he's asking if we use the sharp tip tool all the way through, and
yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
yeah. Maybe, like I said, maybe a little tape on them, just give it a little bit of a blunt tip, but it normally
I try to use
through.
the least amount of tools as possible. I think.
Yeah, that's how the fast guys use it.
I try to keep one in my hand. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
we got something about the matrix. Are you writing any on the standard or specialty matrix? Kent, most of our stuff, I would say about 75% of our stuff is on standard.
Yeah. And then we have
no issues with that unless they're a direct repair.
Right.
That's the kind of the only reason why they want. I mean, they pretty much signed the deal. We're signing the deal to do the job, so we got to play by their rules.
Yeah.
But there's different ways. So if you understand each insurance company and what they will allow, you can, because I leave a little bit of stuff off the estimate just because it doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to nickel dime the insurance company. And so some of these insurance companies, they kind of force you to nickel dime it, or they're just used to text nickel and diming them. So they have a low number, and then, you get the markup for extra large tall vehicle, and then you get the markup for rib roof, and it's like now you have to start putting all of those things on there instead of just one. So what does he say? He says wrote a Porsche on specialty on Friday. We'll see if we get approved and how much pushback I get. Kent, what insurance company did you write for? I know you're in a different state, so it could vary. And then it's the reputation that you. Most of the insurance guys know me. They know I'm a not do a supplement even if I break something. And so they just know when I write the estimate, that's it. Just approve it, and I'm going to have that car out in 36 hours or less.
Yeah.
So let's get it done.
As easy as possible.
Let's get it done. So they love that aspect of it. And,
So it's from MetLife, so.
I know nothing about MetLife. So I'm sorry, Ken. I was going to try to give some type of insight, but sorry. Can't help you there. Dead center tires work great on aluminum. Yeah, I love the dead center tabs. If you guys don't have the dead center tabs, you guys have to get them. I think they were out of stock when I tried to order them, but Kiko nailed it with those dead center tabs. I agree. So I don't get the super, super small one, but the step above that and the step larger than that, up into about a dime size, those things are money.
Yeah.
And they said no slide hammer, but I use it all the time with a slide hammer. I don't care. That's what works. I love the slide hammer over a mini lifter though. So that's just me.
I agree.
So I like the panel to flex. Certain stamps. Anyway, are you ready to go? That's it?
I think that's it. Good.
That's it, guys. Hey, I want to welcome. I want to thank everybody for joining us on tonight's show. I want to thank our sponsors, Mobile Tech RX, Blim Tools, and Dentcraft. Dave, go ahead and send the outro because obviously I can't talk.
So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in as well. You guys can also check us out on our podcast, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, stuff like that. Don't forget, If you guys missed, we also have a giveaway going on, so check in the description below. Enter in for that. We'll be announcing that, I think, in 2 weeks. So check for that. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.